Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, the 25th of October, and it's another pretty cool day in Les Sables d'Olonne. The days are getting shorter up here. It's dark still, 8:30 in the morning. And anyway, things are shaping up pretty much as we expected at the moment. And Simon's now still leading. He's travelled 6,327 technical nautical miles from the start in Les Sables d'Olonne. Up until today, he's holding lead position. Tapio's in second place. He's travelled about 100 miles less, 6,227 miles. So he's 100 miles less technically. And Abelish is holding in third position, and then Pat's right on his hammer, right beside him. Then Kirsten, then Damien slipped back a bit because he's going a bit slow at the moment as well, and they're all pretty much bunched together. Then you get to the middle fleet. You've got Michael Guggenberg, Captain Gug, Urton's there, and then Jeremy, and so it goes down the line. So anyway, that's all interesting stuff. Their average speeds, 24-hour runs are sort of okay, 150 to 100 sort of thing. But boy, they've been making some big speeds in the last week, which we'll talk about in the press release this week on Thursday. But anyway, so the other interesting thing, I'm still happy to see, I'm watching all these storms, going across the Southern Ocean here, and this is 40 degrees south. This technical course running along the top there pretty much runs along just above the southern limit. We've got a no-go zone here that will drop into the chart here shortly, and you'll see what it is. But most of the heavy weather is still all below 40 degrees south here, which is really encouraging, because when the fleet was coming down in 2018, these storms were coming way high. So the 2 months has taken its toll in getting out of Biscay and so on, but hopefully it'll pay dividends for the fleet when they're heading across through the Indian Southern Ocean. The interesting point here is most people traditionally think that this is the worst part. I mean, there's a bit of wind down there at the moment. They always think Cape Horn, it's a nightmare and blah, 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 and it's not easy for sure. But I have to tell you, the most challenging part for any circumnavigation around the world is right here. It's the Indian Southern Ocean. It's weather is far more unstable. At least you get big winds in the Pacific side going into Cape Horn, but they're a bit more organised. Anything can happen through here, and it always takes its toll. Most sailors know that. This is very demanding through here, so something to look forward to in the months ahead. Anyway, right now we come up here, and we've got a few interesting things happening. Damien's hit a soft patch. He did really well, as you know, putting his rudder back on and all the rest of it. It was amazing. He obviously worked hard, but he didn't lose a lot of time. He managed to keep boat speed up and kept it there. But right now, he's fallen into a hole that's going to affect him. He's only making 4 knots at the moment, and you compare that to the leader. Simon's now kicked in at 6.2. In fact, this whole group here, Avalish is doing 6.3, Pat is doing 6.4, Kirsten's doing 6.2, and Tapio is 4.8. Now, Tapio knows exactly what's going on down here. He's done this leg a couple of times before. He is one of only, in fact, I think he's the only entrant who has pre-organised radio skids to a shore base, where he gets regular reports on the high seas forecast, the official WMO forecast. All of those communications are recorded in case there's any issues, but we just to explain the situation, we had lengthy discussions with Tapio in the months leading up to the start. We must have had upwards of 8 or 9 direct communications on what's allowed, what's not, so that he knew all of his links around the world, had the rules and regulations exactly right, and what they could talk to Tapio about and what they couldn't. He's also got connections basically all around the world, so I know for a fact Tapio is getting good weather forecasts. Now, I think what he'll be sharing with the entrants is his local weather, just to be polite, but I doubt whether he'll be passing on some of that information that's tactical for him. And besides that, if he wasn't getting that, as I say, he knows what's going on. The weather's gone light. He's heading south big time. Because if we look at what's happening here, and they're still relatively high, if we come back here, there's still a beam, directly west of Cape Town, which traditionally is pretty high. Even Matessian knows that. You'll see he's coming down here. He will actually go to Cape Town, but he knows even if he wants to get there, he's got to approach it. He read all the pilot books back in the day in '68. They didn't have a lot of experience down in this part of the world, so they would read books like Ocean Passages of the World, traditional square rigger sailing ship rules, to make the most of the weather, because in the last 200 years before that, it was always ships. And he would know that he's got to come down here and approach it from this direction, not from this direction or up here. Anyway, so they're still pretty high, and I think you'll see they've got to actually come down a little bit lower yet, even to hold the breeze. Because following on from that, let's just look at what's going to happen with this high. You've got another high directly underneath it. They're colliding here. There's a bit of a interface, a bit of a trough there where the two highs are coming together. That's they don't like doing that. You very rarely get it because the winds are going the same direction, and you get a bang like this. This wind's going this way, this one's going that way. So you'll see pretty quickly. In fact, I'll try and animate this if I can get the button going. When I just push these a few hours, you'll see what happens is the trough's moving up, the other high's getting pushed along. And in fact, I could get you can tell which is the stronger high because they'll have a hectopascal reading for both of these, and I think these two are about the same. I get those measurements off of Windy, but it comes across, and this is coming up to 24 hours. This is all happening literally in the 24 hours. So you'll see what happened then. Damien picks up a bit of breeze again, so he's going to start moving. These guys are all pretty good. They've got breeze, so that's all happening. Not looking so good up the back here, but you can see Arnaud and so on are going to have a little bit soft. We'll keep moving that through. I'll keep animating it, moving it through. So this is the 26th. This is the next day. This is a bit over 24 hours away. The lead group's got breeze. The guys up the back are going to run out of breeze. So the lead group's still sailing. This is the 27th. 2 days ahead. They'll be in that breeze. It's really nice. It's a northwesterly. That'll be hooting along for them. Gets quite strong. These sort of yellow areas here are going to push it through to 30 knots, gusting 35, maybe higher. They had a lot of squalls back here. Ayrton and the others were talking about the big squalls with 40, 50 knots. As they get further south, the squalls get a bit more dramatic, but they're easy to see. They're easy to see, and not tropical squalls. They're more weather systems, little weather systems. A bit hard to describe, but anyway. So moving along 28th, it's all looking okay. That's 3 days ahead coming through, and then it starts to get really interesting because you can see here there's another high effectively below them, which is not a good look because you get these headwinds and potentially, so this is the 28th, the fleet's going to be around here somewhere. It's still coming from the southeast. That's okay. If we bounce that through, it keeps it going. The 29th, there's definitely some headwinds going to kick in for 24 hours maybe. This is showing an east-southeasterly wind, which is right on the nose. So there's going to be some challenges. That's 4 days ahead if this forecast holds true, and this is getting, this high that's formed up here is getting squeezed by two sort of big low pressure systems here, but so that'll come up and pass through them by the look of it. This is the first time I'm looking at this. I'm just looking at it the same as you. So wow, there's a bit of confusion there. Light winds, so that's going to slow them down a bit. That's lasting a day and a bit because they've still got headwinds here. They're still up too high. This is what I was saying. They really need to be down lower. This is the 40th parallel, roaring 40s. But at the same time, they're getting close to Cape Town. So this will be a juggling act. But it looks like they're going to slow down if this forecast holds true. That's going to sit right over the top of them for a while. And then it'll be, you see what happens here. Let's see, that's the 30th. So it's 5 days ahead. That's 500, 600, 700 miles. So they'll be 700 miles up here. That's a bit far. 780. So yeah, they're going to be challenged there. If this is the same, there's going to be a big patch there for all of them, unless they start coming down south. So that's kind of fun. And then okay, keep going. I'll quickly blast this up. Boom. Then it's back to traditional. So then if they were down here, they're going to get sailing again, but that's going to take them a bit of time. So let's just come back to today. We're nearly done. So we know what the leaders are doing. Everyone's pretty much having fun at the moment. Back on track. Nord's 5.5. That's okay. You can see he's got a good trade wind there, but it's hooking around. It's a bit north of east. Ian Herbert Jones 6.3. He's happy with that. Oh, I need to make this bigger so everyone can see it. Here we go. Okay, Ian's making 6.3. He's that's still 4 o'clock position, so he should be around. He'll be around Trinidad today. He was hoping to get there tonight, in the last night, but it's not going to happen. Elliot's around the corner, 5.3, doing really well, catching up to Guy Waits, 5.7. Elliot's cutting the corner a bit now, so he's picked up. Guy was out to the west. You've seen what happens here, so he comes around and he's level pegging now with Guy Waits. And if you remember back 6 days ago, he was a long way from Guy Waits. So interesting. Jeremy happy there. Still in touch, 6.3. He's not going backwards, put it that way, but he's still not in the lead bunch yet. Ayrton 5.8. We have had a communication from Ayrton, and it looks like he is seriously considering stopping in Cape Town to make repairs. It's a long way to go, from Cape Town for the rest of the track without power, with batteries that aren't functioning, with the wind generator that's propped up with jury rigging, things like that. So he hasn't decided yet, but we haven't passed anything down the line anywhere. It's just that he is discussing it with us right now, what he might do. So it's all looking good. I think that's about all. So we'll the wind vane report from Damien's been delayed a bit. We're hoping to get that up late today now. We're just discussing with all parties what's going on, and PRB are going to come back with some comments as well. And we've actually put a call request through to Damien to talk about the actual break. We're interested for lots of different reasons, but we'll be out today. And if you missed the Q&A, there's 40 minutes of questions and answers that I did yesterday, so you can scroll down to